Welcome back to WagerTalk TV. I'm Marco D'Angelo, your host. I'm joined in studio with Brian Leonard. You can follow him on Twitter at BLeonardSports. And, of course, my man VR, Vegas Runner. You can follow him at Greek_Gambler on Twitter. Guys, the sky is falling in San Francisco. The Jimmy G hype train got derailed on Sunday. I thought the hype train coming in was a little bit too much to begin with, but now I think we're even going to see even more of an overreaction now that he's gone. I'll start with you, Brian. Out for the season, C.J. Beathard, can he lead this team?
Well, you talked about the franchise quarterback, and they're all excited about having him, but they actually were 0-3 against the spread in games that he started. And the thought process is, what is the drop-off? I'm guessing 5 points, something in that range. At least that's what I thought it would be. Beathard has the ability to lead the team, but he doesn't have the skills of Jimmy G. We've always talked in the past about teams getting up for games when the key player went out. Well, now they probably know at this point, especially in a division with the Rams, the playoffs are probably not going to happen, even if they get up for these games. It is a big drop-off for the Chargers here because the Chargers got to play the Rams and the Chiefs, the two best offenses, and now they get to play a backup quarterback in San Francisco, so it's a huge drop-off there. But if I had to play the game, and I won't be on it, I would take San Francisco just for the one-game situation. We'll see how it goes. They're already bringing in some other quarterbacks trying them out.
VR, we look at this one, and Brian said a five-point adjustment. They actually made a 6-point adjustment for Jimmy G, and a lot of people were talking about it on Twitter. I know there's one guy that said his Vegas sources as he looked at the look-ahead line and what it came out and said they're making Jimmy G 6 points, okay? Captain Obvious. But
he must have went to school in Steubenville or something.
Yeah, but the situation is 6 points is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Jimmy G is not worth 6 points. We're talking about how many NFL quarterbacks can you put down the list that you would actually put the 6 to 7 points? This is a guy that has a handful of lifetime starts. I'm sorry, I think they're going a little bit overboard with the overreaction.
Well, I think that when you look at a quarterback, a number one going out and a number two going in, the worth is based on the drop-off. You know, what's the change between 1 and 2? Like, you could have a great number two so that, you know, when your number one goes out, it's a very slight adjustment. Look at last year with the Eagles, with Foles and Wentz. What was they worth to the betting line? They went on to win the Super Bowl, so probably not much, you know. But, yeah, then you have a situation in Green Bay. If Rodgers goes down, he's worth almost double digits to the betting line, more than any other player in the entire NFL. So I think in this situation, I agree with you 100%. We haven't seen enough of Garoppolo yet to come to a conclusion that he's worth almost a touchdown to an NFL point spread. More importantly, if we base it off what we've saw this year, like Brian touched on, 3 games where they're 0-3 against the spread, then he's definitely not worth 5 points to the betting line. Now, you can't just blame Jimmy G. You got inexperience at wide receiver. I mean, Shanahan, as an offensive coordinator and head coach, he's getting all the pieces together that he wants. It's going to take a while. These are inexperienced young kids. They have no number one wide receiver. So Jimmy G was going to struggle this year. That's why he's 55% completions and all that. It wasn't going to be a great year. So I don't think the drop-off is that significant. And I agree with Brian. It's hard to back San Francisco in this spot, even though you know, or I believe I'm confident I'm getting line value. It's the motivation. It's, okay, usually the team's going to step it up. Our stud's not here. We got to show up. But then it's show up for what? It's the Chargers. It's not a division game. It's not a rival by any means. It's you know, that's the only thing that stops me from saying I'm grabbing this 10.5 and I'm in love with it. That's the way I'm looking at it. It's the only way I could play this game. It's either San Francisco or leave it alone. My only fear is that we're looking at a 1-2 football team that knows this early on they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and I got to say to you, we do a podcast together with our buddy Gil Alexander, and one of the things on that show is, of all the games on the board on Sunday, which is the one game you don't want any part of? This might be that game because of the question marks, because we don't know how bad, we don't know the mental state with San Francisco. If they realize, the season is over, if they're going to come to play, this is the one that they come to play, the first one. But put it out there.
What about, we keep talking about San Francisco, but what about the Chargers? I mean, they're not playing good. This is a team that was supposed to be better than last year. And last year, they were a great team, statistically speaking. They were plus 12 in turnover differential, plus 25 in sack differential. When you have numbers like that, you're supposed to win football games. But out of 5 games that were decided by 3 points or less, they won 1 of those. For some reason, this team just can't get it done. So they're not a team I have any confidence in.
Do you want to lay 10.5 points with a team that the defense is so bad? Granted, they played Kansas City week 1. And the Rams. But they did give up 20 to Buffalo. But, didn't Buffalo win last week? So,
I'm not giving them a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, it's a bad situation. I definitely cannot lay 10.5 points with the Chargers.
Especially when you've got one of the weakest home field advantages in football.
Yeah. That's another point.
Got to look at the Niners here or leave it alone.
All right, guys. Hey, each and every Monday, get every pick at WagerTalk for just $9. This includes if somebody puts up a 5% best bet that normally sells for $30. Check it out each and every Monday at WagerTalk. You can get every play for $9. There'll be plays up for Monday, and there'll also be early plays up for the weekend in football. You can jump on board and grab those plays before the line moves for just $9. Check it out, WagerTalk.com. We'll be back with more.